germs, how are you? Did you ever hear that joke, ladies and germs? I've already told you you're guinea pigs, right? You know what you do with guinea pigs, right? Experiment. So you're our experiment. So anyways, why are you here? Did your teacher tell you why you were here? She didn't tell you, she just said, show up. What we're going to do is you were asked to read an article, right, and stuff, so did everyone get to read it? People need the copies of the article, some people do. Right? So here's one for you, here's one for you, here's one for you, you two have an article. So the first thing I want to do is I want to talk about this, though, before we talk about the article. And this is what we're going to be using today. So what do you think of this? What is this?
Sequence chart.
It's what?
A sequence chart.
It's a sequence chart? What do you mean by a sequence chart?
It's so we can.
Okay, is it? So give me an example of sequence.
First, next, then.
Okay. So I guess I wonder, if you're writing first, next, last, or whatever, where would that go in this piece of paper?
Introduction is first, then body is next, and then conclusion is last.
That's funny because, have you ever heard the idea of a graphic organizer? Yeah, this is a graphic organizer, right? And do you know what it's a graphic organizer for? Yeah. Well, it's about organizing your thoughts, right? And so one thing I would think of is a sequence, piece of writing, right, would go on this graphic organizer, and where would the sequence go? In the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. What do you think? In the body, that's exactly right? And we're going to have something that introduces it, and that main part of the article is going to be on that sequencing, right? And then the conclusion. Okay. So just look at this, though. Look at this graphic organizer, and just tell me, what do you think this graphic organizer is for? What does this graphic organizer want you to do? Does it want you to write a story? Do you write a story with introduction, body, conclusion?
I want you to write an expository fiction article.
Okay, you sure? Are you looking closely enough? Here's what I want you to do. I want you to look closely at the graphic organizer, not the article, and I want you to say, what is it asking us to do? Is it asking you to write an informational article? It is not. What's it asking you to do? Say it again. Okay. Why are you saying that? What's telling you it's explaining something? Okay, so what is the purpose? What does this article want you to do?
To explain what you're writing about.
Okay, in particular, explain what? You already read it to me in the very beginning. What's it want you to explain? Hanaya, what do you think? It wants you to explain. It wants you to explain your opinion. That's exactly Hanaya. How'd you know that? Okay, the opinion's right there, right? So it wants you to give an opinion, right? And keep looking at this graphic organizer, because what needs to be in an opinion? Don't be looking. Okay. Well, you know what I want you to do? I want you to look at this graphic organizer right now, and I want you to give me something just like Hanaya did, right off the graphic organizer. What does it want you to do? It wants you to give an opinion, and what's an opinion? And I want you to give me information right off the graphic organizer. Yeah, it's about reasons, right? It wants you to give your opinion, and it wants to give you have to have reasons for your opinion, right? So that's exactly right. So that's what we're going to do today. You read an opinion, didn't you? What's the opinion on? What did it give you an opinion on? On handwriting. Yep, that's exactly right. So what we're going to do is we're going to break this article down, this opinion down, and we're going to take notes right on this graphic organizer, right? We're actually breaking the article down right now. So the name of this is Handwriting Counts. And who's it by?
Steve Graham.
Steve Graham, that's exactly right. And why should we be listening to Steve Graham? Why should we listen to his opinion? Okay, get better writing, but why should we listen to Steve Graham about this?
He believes that strong handwriting is something you should practice.
Okay, so what is he, but is that why we should listen to him? That's his opinion, but why should we listen to him? You're in the right area, Liam. Can you read that piece? Can you read the whole thing for me?
Steve Graham, professor of education of Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee, conducts research regarding instruction and development. He believes that good penmanship sets the good function for strong writing.
Okay, so why should we listen to Steve Graham? What does he do? He's what? Yeah, he's a professor, isn't he? At where? In Nashville, Tennessee, at Vanderbilt University. So you think he's pretty knowledgeable? He is. All right, that's great. So here's what I want you to do. First of all, I want you to point out, where does this article start? I want you to point and say, where does this article start? All right, I'm going to start someplace. Do all articles have an introduction, a body, a conclusion? Do they? What do you think? How about let me ask this question. Does a good article always have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion?
Yes.
It does, right? Why does a good article have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion?
So they can tell you why they're writing it and then give reasons and then give them why and give them an opinion.
Yeah. So it doesn't really matter if it's informational or opinion, right? That they need to tell you, what does an introduction tell you right up front in any?
What it's about.
Let's not use the word story, because is this a story? No, it's an article, right? So I want to use that language. So an introduction kind of tells us what's the purpose of the article, and then there's the body, which has a lot of the information down, and what's the conclusion for?
It summarizes the story.
Okay, kind of like one way you can summarize the story. It kind of tells you that the article's over, right? All right, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to point to, how about this? Where does the introduction start? Where's the introduction start? I want you to point where the introduction starts. Everybody think that's where the introduction starts? What if I told you, so why don't you read, where do you think the introduction starts? Where were you pointing? Colton, where were you pointing? Where does the introduction start?
Where it says Steve Graham.
What do you think?
I think where it starts where it says don't have a penmanship.
Say it again.
Don't have a penmanship, that is.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right, what do you think?
Where I think it starts where it says Steve Graham.
You think Steve Graham? What do you think?
Don't have a penmanship.
Okay, what do you think?
Don't have a penmanship.
What do you think?
Steve Graham.
You think so? Well, if you look at the introduction on the graphic organizer, what does it say, a graphic organizer? What does an introduction have? It has a lead and an opinion. So do either of those does it have both a lead and an opinion? Mm-mm. No? So what's the title of this article?
Handwriting counts.
Handwriting counts, that's the title. And then it says, don't write off penmanship. Studies show that minding your P's and Q's has many benefits. What if I said that was a subtitle? Isn't that? So there's the title and then there's a subtitle, right? And then Steve Graham, what's that about, Steve Graham? Who is he? He's a professor. This is just telling us about him as a professor, right? He's telling us who the art is. That the introduction? No, it isn't. Where does the introduction start, do you think? Yes, 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 yes. Right there, okay, right? So here's what I want you to do. That's where the introduction starts. And so here's what I want you to do. I want you to read, and I want you to be looking for two things. I want you to look for or let's do this one thing right now. I want you to read and tell me what the lead is. All right, what did he use for a lead? So you want to just read again right now? And I just want you to read, and I want you to stop when you think you've found, when you've gotten to the end of the lead. All right, you want to do that? Okay, go ahead, and I want you to stop when you think you got to the lead. What's he using to lead off the article? And you know what you can do, you can make a little mark on the paper when you think you've gotten to where the lead ends. Maybe you could put where the lead starts and where the lead ends. Can we stop right now? Is it okay to stop right now? What do you think? What did he use for a lead? What's the lead about in this article? What did Steve Graham, how did he choose, in his introduction, how did he choose to lead this off? What's his lead, or what's his hook? Maybe you call it a hook, too, right? What's his hook?
About who's our country's first president.
Yep, who's that?
George Washington.
Okay, so he chose to start about George Washington, right? And so what's he doing? So what's he talking about? What's his lead about George Washington?
His penmanship.
What about his, yeah, he's talking about his penmanship, and what about his penmanship?
He practiced it.
He practiced it diligently. Yep. What else did you find out? So he practiced it diligently. Yep. What else?
He copied Hamilton's sayings on how to behave.
He copied 110 sayings. What do you think of that? Right? Would you be interested in copying 110 sayings? Okay. So it's about George Washington. He practiced diligently 110 sayings. Yep. What else? Anything else?
Really spent person's time mastering his handwriting instead of on
All right, they also would have spent most of his time mastering handwriting and, probably not on the computer, right? So where does the lead start in here? What are the first two words?
George Washington.
George Washington. Where does the lead end? Because I noticed you had a little trouble at knowing where the lead ends. Say it again.
As a verb. Practiced his penmanship diligently as a verb.
All right, diligently as a boy. So you think that, a lead is right there, is just that first sentence? Anybody think it's more than that? What do you think?
It ends at writing skills to at second.
Which one? Read it to me.
Writing skills to end with the exclamation mark.
Just trying to see if you can, where are you looking? Right over there? Oh, so you think it goes all the way over there? Do you think so? All right, how about this? Look what I have. This is what I think the lead is right here. So you think, George Washington, our country's first president, practiced his penmanship diligently as a boy. He carefully copied 110 sayings on how to behave, known as the rules of civility, in order to fine-tune his script. Kids today might have argued that had Washington owned a computer, he wouldn't have to spend his time mastering neat handwriting. Because his lead is all about what? George Washington, right? And so, so that's the lead. And how many paragraphs did he use for a lead? He used one for a lead. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about his opinion right now. What's the author's opinion? Can you read? Where do you think the author's opinion starts? In the introduction. Where do you think it starts? Kimberly, where do you think it starts? Maybe not. That's exactly right. So why don't you start reading there, and I want you to think, where does his opinion end? So I want you to start, and I want you to stop, and I want you to think, where does his opinion end right now? Because we want to know, what does he want us to be thinking in this article? So, we said his opinion probably starts at maybe not. Where do you think his opinion goes to? What would you say? Where does it stop, his opinion? Because an introduction has a lead, and it also has an opinion. Where do you think? Where does it stop? Say it again. At the end of the paragraph. So what's that? Can you read the last sentence? Okay. What do other people think? Is that where his opinion ends? So what's his opinion? So he has a lead, and the lead is about George Washington, right? What's his opinion? Who can summarize it? Don't read it. Who can summarize the opinion? What's his opinion? Does he think you should practice handwriting or not? He does think you should practice handwriting. And he also tells you why he thinks you should practice handwriting. Why should you practice handwriting? If you want to read, go ahead right now. Why does he think you should practice handwriting? You'll get better every time you practice, right? Anything else? What gets better every time you practice? How they write, how fast they write, and how well they write. So look what I did right here when I was doing my graphic organizer. I wish I had some, I probably should have copied it. But I took the introduction right here, which says it has a lead and an opinion. And look what I did. I wrote, what's this L stand for right here? It's the lead. And what's this O stand for right here? My opinion. So what I did was I divided this first part in half, and I wrote his lead over here, which was all about. And then over this side I wrote his opinion, the author's opinion, and what's that all about?
Research.
The research, right? And then what he's found out about writing, handwriting. All right, here's what I want you to do. So I want everybody to make a mark at the end of his opinion. Did you make that the top of the second column where it says how well they write? I want you to put a mark right there. That's the end of the introduction, right? Now here's what I want you to do. What's going to be in the body? Look at your graphic organizer right now. What's going to be in the body? Reason. Guess what you're going to be reading right now? Reason. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to read, and I want you to figure out how many reasons are there. And I want you to I want you to read until you think you've gotten to the end of the body, right? So I want you to read, and I want you to make a little mark on your paper. I want you to find out how many reasons are there, and then put a mark that says that the reasons are over, and the conclusion is going to start. Go ahead. And you could be underlining if you want to do some underlining, you could be underlining some important things in there. Is everybody doing okay? Okay. Well, first of all, does everybody think they know where the body stops? Where does the body stop with this piece?
Questions?
Okay, the word questions. Anybody think differently? Everybody agree? Anybody disagree? Colton? You agree with that?
I think it ends, yeah.
You agree with that? Okay. And so what's left after the introduction? After the body, what's left? And what do we call the last two paragraphs?
Conclusion.
At the conclusion. All right. So, now, how many reasons were there in the body? How many reasons did you come up with? You had 4. Were there 4 reasons? All right, so when you think about that paragraph right there, how many reasons is that in that paragraph right there? Is it 3? Listen to this. How does practicing penmanship make you a better writer? By not letting penmanship get in your way. By not letting penmanship get in your way. Hang on, I gotta put my glasses on, guys. How does practicing penmanship make you a better writer? By not letting penmanship get in your way. When you are not adept at handwriting, you expend energy on the mechanics. This interferes with the creative flow of ideas. Once you have mastered the pen or pencil, you can spend all your energy on making your ideas clear. How many reasons is that? What do you think? You think it's 2? Because what are they talking about right here? It says, when you are not adept at handwriting, you expend all your energies on mechanics. And now it's giving you reasons, right? That's a reason, right? Not being adept at handwriting, you expend all your energies on mechanics. What does that mean, mechanics? Yeah, it is about the way you write. The mechanics is just how you write. And if you have better mechanics, right, what does that help you with? If you have better mechanics, yeah, it helps you get your ideas down better. That's one thing. And what else does it help you do? Okay, but what does it say in the article? It tells you right there, it says, it helps you get your ideas down, create a flow of ideas. What else does it say after that? It helps make your, say it again?
Ideas first.
Yeah, it makes your ideas clear. So here's what I'm going to do. So that paragraph is all about one reason, right? So watch this, what I'm going to do right here. Because how many reasons does Steve Graham give us? He gives us 2. The first one is in that first paragraph about making sure you have good mechanics. So watch me do this. Right? So there's I'm going to put a bullet. You know what bullets are for? What's a bullet for? It's for, having ideas. And this idea is going to be about what? Good mechanics. What does good mechanics help you do? Who can pull something out of the article? I love that you're doing that. Why did I draw a line, Colton? There's 2 ideas, and I'm on that paragraph right there about good mechanics. What do good mechanics do? Okay, so what am I going to put? What am I going to put with this dash? Good ideas. Yep. So I'm going to put. I'm going to put flow of ideas. Because how many words can you have in your notes when you write notes? How many words can you put on a line? 1 to 3. I love it. Flow of ideas. All right. So good mechanics helps with the flow of ideas. And what else does it help you do? I like Anaya's looking. Good mechanics, and the first reason is good mechanics, flow of ideas. Did you find anything else down there? What's the other reason? Yes?
Making the ideas clear.
Yeah, making your, but here's the deal, making your ideas clear. How many words is that? Can you have 4? You can't. So what am I gonna write down? I'm gonna put another hyphen like this.
Making ideas clear.
What is it gonna be?
Making ideas clear.
Making ideas clear. Okay. Everybody there? All right. Did everybody get that down? All right, so here's what I want you to do. I want you then to go into the second paragraph, and I want you to do the same thing that I just did right here. I want you to see if you can pick out the main idea, and then the supporting details, just like we did, right? Good mechanics means you can have a flow of ideas and making your ideas clear. So let's read I want you to read the next paragraph and see if you can do the same thing down there, all right, for the reasons. And again, I want you to remember your note taking. You can only have 3 words down max, right? I'm going to do it too and see if we all get the same thing. Bless you. So here's the first reason, right? See the paragraph, it's this paragraph right here. Like that. So, yeah, you're right there. Yep. Yep. You know what's next? All right. So it's got, yep, you got that. So what's going to be part of the details of that? Throughout your education, you will be asked to write your answers on standardized tests. Testing. It does. Why does it pay off? I'll give you some examples down here, right? You can write those examples down here. How you doing? So, yeah, I think that's right. And so what is the details about that? Because what will happen if you're not, what could be the possibilities? Yeah. And then also there's, you can see if there's any other examples down there. How you doing? Okay. So what's going to be the big idea of this paragraph right here? So yeah, like the mechanics, it's going to be about what? Yes, ma'am. So you can write that, and then what is neatness going to help you do? Give some examples of that. Okay. This part right down here, where's that come from? Good test. Well, that is, I mean, not enough that just line it out and put not, what are you going to put, not what? just put out good tests and put enough time. Don't erase, just line it out. All right, so everybody think they pretty much done? All right, let's talk about it. So, there's two reasons in the body, right? The first one is good mechanics, and then, what are some examples of, what are good mechanics? What will they get you? Good mechanics. In the first reason. Full of ideas and yes, so that's that reason. What's the next reason? What did you write down for the next reason, the big idea of the next reason? I think the value of neatness, right? And that's his other reason. He says, the value of neatness, right? If you have good writing, you'll have the value of neatness. And what will that do for you, the value of neatness? What will neatness do for you? What did he say? Say it again. All right, he said you'll be able to write more quickly. Yeah, what else? And if you're writing more quickly, you'll have what? You'll have enough time. Yep, that was one of the things. And what else did he say? That was one thing he said. If you write more quickly, you'll have more time. And you can get full credit. That's exactly right. And so this is what mine looked like right here. I did mine. I put the value of neatness, and then I put standardized test, and then I put not full credit and not enough time. So that's how I did my note taking. Did yours kind of look like that too? Okay. And last but not least, we're just going to do it really quickly. Let's just look at the conclusion for a minute. Let's see how did he end this piece, right? How about somebody read for me? Liam, do you want to read that? Do you want to read the conclusion? So first of all, how did he conclude? How did he conclude this? What did he do in his conclusion? He did something. What did he do? Did he go back to the introduction? How did he go back? Yeah, he did a little bit. How did he go back to the introduction? What did he talk about that was like the introduction? Right, he said, yeah, he kind of went back to Washington again, right? Is that something you can do on a closing, right? When you want to conclude something, you can go back to the beginning. So he did. Is that a good thing to do? He did. So let's take a few notes. What did he do here? So I'm going to put the word Washington up here again under my conclusion, right? He went back to the lead. So I got a bullet. I put Washington, and what's going to go under Washington? You guys don't need to write right now. I'm going to do all the writing. You guys can just watch me. I like doing the work. Do you guys like doing the work? All right, I got Washington. What are we going to put under? Washington's the big idea, right? That goes back to Washington. What am I going to put under Washington? Under my bullet of Washington. All right, so what am I going to put? I'm going to put a hyphen, and I'm going to put letters. All right, well, how many words can I use? All right, letters same size. What else am I going to put under there? I'm going to put letters correctly, and I'm going to put a slash mark, and quickly. Yep. Anything else?
Make sure everything is dark.
Yep, and I'll put letters dark and letters dark, and then I'll put straight line underneath it. Okay? And then, am I done?
The sharp
Okay, I'm gonna write, well, what does it say? Does it say a sharp pencil? If you use a pencil, you will, does it say a sharp pencil? Read that last paragraph again. Yeah, he says if you work with a pencil, right, or a pen, what are you gonna do?
Sharpen the way you express it.
Yeah, you're gonna sharpen. So if you work with a pencil, right? If you work with your handwriting, so I'm gonna put handwriting, and under that, what are you gonna do? You're gonna be able to express ideas. So look at what I have. This is how my conclusion looks. What do you think about that? How many big ideas were there in the conclusion? There were 2 big ideas. The first one was on Washington, and the other big idea was on handwriting, right? What do you think? So look at that. Look at that's the plan that Steve Graham probably used to write his article. What do you think about that? Is that kind of like how you write your articles? Do you have to write it like this? Kinda. How about this? Should this be how your articles look when you write an informational piece or an opinion piece?
Yes.
So what does your writing have to look like? What do you have to do? What do you think you have to know how to do better or more? Okay. Yes, but that's just the article. I mean, when you write an informational piece. Okay, you have to know how to express in your introductions what? You have to express your lead. You have to have a lead or a hook. And what's that going to do? A lead or a hook?
He or she wants to keep reading.
And then also in that introduction, you also have to state your opinion. All right. And then once you have that, then what do you need to do? On your reasons. Yeah, that's exactly right. What do you think about having 2 reasons? Do you think it's important to have more than one reason when you're writing? Yeah. And then what about the conclusion? What do you got to think about with the conclusion when you're writing an opinion? Yeah, you kind of have to restate your opinion. Is it going to be exactly the same?
No.
Nope, but you got to kind of restate it, right? And what did this guy do? He actually gave us some information. He kind of talked about this is what you need to do, right? If you want to do your handwriting, means the letters need to be the same size. You need to do them correctly and quickly. They need to be dark, and they need to be on a straight line, right? And if you can do that, what are you going to be able to do? If you can do all those things. Write neatly and be able to write fast and express your ideas. All right, you guys are great. What did you think? Was it good? What are you taking away from this? What are you thinking about? What do you think about? You need to practice your handwriting? Okay. All right, you guys are great. You ready to go back to your classrooms? All right, see ya. See you guys. You're wonderful. How are we doing in time?
3 minutes.
3 minutes? All right, 4 o'clock when we get back.
Sure. Unless you want to have any parting wisdom.
Very good.